And that has to be said, because people will say, I've registered with all these organizations, then why am I not earning?
Exactly. No, you touch on a lot of good points there, man. So the first thing I'd say is there are the ways of making money in the music industry. There's so many of them, but we all rush to the same ones, which is radio play and gigs. Those are the main ones. I'm going to put gigs to the side and we're going to talk about radio play for the time being and getting your song on, say, your big TV stations, whatever the case is. That's where the focus is. And I'm like, okay, we don't necessarily, for you to make a sustainable, good income, let's not all run to the same place, because it's a door and only so many people can fit through that door. Why not go to a door that's on the other side and no one's walking through it, which is a good way of then bringing in synchronization and getting music synced. A long time ago, it was about 10 years back, I was playing I was playing FIFA, and I heard a track playing, and I was like, hey man, I know the song it was Lockenville, and I was like, these guys got their track, they got their track here. I'm like, hey man, I'm sure there's a way for the rest of us to also get our music onto a game. I also want to, as I'm scrolling and selecting my team, I want to hear my music playing in the background.
Yes.
So I started researching, and then I started emailing a few people, and they were like, look, this is how it's done. That opened up a whole space for me, because as I started submitting music, I started realizing that I, as a music producer, I don't have to make beats, go find an artist, put together tracks, hope that they're going to put the songs out, hope that they're going to invest, hope that that song blows up, hope to get radio play, and hope to get performance royalties in that way. I can find a music publisher, which is a business that basically takes your music and is, as part of some of the work that they do, they will take your music out to the world. I give my music to them. Obviously, we have a conversation to say, these are the songs that are going to work, these are the ones that aren't going to work. They are also, music publishers are usually run by musicians themselves, so they understand the intricacies of music. So they'll talk to you and say, hey, maybe just bring that bridge out, or do this, tweak that, whatever. You get the track right for TV or for film or whatever it is that you guys sit down and craft. Give it to them, and it becomes this whole experience of you creating music for a completely different thing, which is now getting your music synced to other media, which means you're going to be having your music on your shows on TV, on radio adverts, on TV adverts, in games, film, even think about sounds for, these children's toys. I say that because of my daughter, and sometimes I push these buttons, those buttons, and music comes out, right?
Yeah.
All of this stuff, this is all synchronization, and there's money to come out of it. And it's not a thing of, you're going to earn one royalty, right?
Yes.
Performance royalty is performance royalty, mechanical. You can have your song synced to a movie, get a fee, have it on rotation, get another fee, then another deal happens in some other shape or form. Maybe they want to use it in another form or media, get another fee, and then you have it then used in a game because it's gotten so big, get another fee. So you've got all these things that I think people don't tap into, because the mind is completely focused on, I would say, radio, gigs, and then I'd also say streaming platforms as well. That's another big place where people focus.
Yeah, most definitely, because I think more of artists are more focusing into, if I can get my song on radio, if it blows up there, then already that's a big win. If I can make sure that maybe I get a TikTok challenge and then my song blows there, then that's a good way, of which now when you even mention a whole lot of things that I was not aware of as well, to say, all these games that we see just for kids, when they pressing and now you hear this sound, like, oh, there's someone who has produced that sound. Amazing. And also, if we're talking about the film industry as well, and even the ones that you were mentioning with the games. So if I do have the music publisher, it's so easy for my music to reach those places.
It's easier, I would say, than if you did it yourself. So a music publisher is there to almost plug in and be a part of your team. Your team is going to be, it'll be you and the other people who are creating the music. The music publisher's job, when they step in, is to leverage their relationships and get your music out to these various places. Because remember, your job as the music creator is to be in the studio and spend your time and energy making the music.
Making the music, yes.
These people are going to take your music to the world. They'll also, another thing that some publishers do, and remember, not all publishers function the same. So it's obviously important to have that conversation with the publisher to figure out what it is you want from one. But then from there, they can put you in touch with particular people. If there's maybe a collaborator collaboration that they might want to set up, they can do that as well.
Yes.
And then they've also got a part of the work that they do that is administration. So in terms of handling, remember all that stuff we were talking about with the registrations and all of that type of stuff, they can then also take that work on. That as an artist, if that is something that is outside of your scope, whether it be because of your level of education, you might just not have enough time, or you just really don't want to do it, and you've got that much of a name now and you're that busy, then they can take that work on. Whether or not it is something that is going to be easy, obviously depends on a few things. It depends on the music, it depends on the way it's marketed. So, as an example, the publishers that I work with, I know it's taken some time for me to get working well with them, because I had to find a publisher who works with my specific genres, which is essentially hip-hop, Afro beats, and future bass and EDM, like electronic music, right? So I needed to find someone who could handle that. At the same time, that person needed to be active. So I was on the websites checking to see, are they releasing music as a music publisher? Are they serious about what they do?
Yes.
Then I had conversations with them. This is all negotiations, all part of negotiation. And obviously, I went in with very little leverage. This was 10 years ago. I went in with very little to no leverage whatsoever.
Yes.
All I had was just a bunch of good songs. And I said, please make them work. Music publishers and music libraries, they want music. So if artists have songs out there, provided that they follow some kind of a theme and there's something going on, they can package it in such a way and find music libraries. Find music publishers, both based here in SA and abroad. There's so many out there, and you can get your music out to the world in that way. Yeah.
So now, if we're talking about the music library, is it possible for me as an artist or as a music composer to have a music library or even a publisher here in South Africa and also an international one?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it all depends on the agreements that you have. So you can have non-exclusive agreements, and you can have exclusive agreements. With the publishers that I work with, I prefer working in an environment when we sit together and we craft the song together. They'll give me feedback on it. And then what happens is, once I'm finished with that track, which is effectively going to be a beat, maybe with some vocal chops in it, I then take it to the publisher and say, here, this is for you to make use of. Take it out to the world. Right? And that's exclusive for that song, right? There are exclusive situations that I have come into contact with where it's exclusive for me, as in anything I create must go via that publisher. That for me, it feels a little bit binding. I haven't, there's maybe one or two situations where I bumped into it and I've been like, I'm not too keen on that, because if they don't do a good job, I'm still forced to funnel my music through. It's like having a bad record deal. It doesn't make sense to me. And then you've got non-exclusive deals where you will have a beat or a track, whatever it is. You'll take it to a library, and it's a non-exclusive library. They'll say that we'll take this track, and it will be, we will handle getting it out there in the Southern African territory.
Okay.
You can then take it to, say, maybe Austria or Australia or America, Canada, whatever it is, and get it to a publisher there, and then you can do the same thing. And then you get it to them, and then they then push it out in that way. Those ones I haven't had a lot of experience with, I must be honest, just because, again, it's a case of now, there's a lot of follow-up. In the same way, even with the beats that I sell, I generally don't enjoy doing non-exclusive things, just because there might be a situation where there is infringement of some kind. One person's collecting of that, another one's trying to collect the same thing, and then there's all of that. I don't want that headache. The thing that has worked well for me, and I must state that it's working well for me, is having an exclusive situation where I work together with a publisher, we craft the song, and I give it to them, and they get it out to the world.
They start pushing it out.
They start pushing it, yeah.
Firstly, there was a question regarding that you're talking about, to say, yes, we understand and we truly, truly appreciate the information that you are sharing, but is there really money in synchronizing your music?
There is.
Because you are someone who's also has made it possible, and even successfully so, in syncing their music, whether it's TV. And also, I remember one time I was watching a game, an international game, I heard your music, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a big thing. You know, I think the reason why, I'll go back to the statement I made where everybody's trying to run through the same door. It's because when you look at the result of people trying to go for a number one hit, it comes with a few things, right? There's obviously the clout that comes with it, and then there's the money or the perception that there's money that comes from radio play. Don't get me wrong, there is. I've had a few songs on radio, and there have been royalties that have come my way. The reason why I enjoy sync so much is that it's not a case of we release the song now, and as long as the song is popping, we are making bank. And then at some point on the back end, it tapers off, you know, the hype dies down a bit, and you don't make as much as you were making in the beginning. What I love about sync is it's the gift that keeps on giving. You can make a song, and this is what actually happened to me.
Yes.
You can make a song in 2010. Think that it's nonsense, and then in 2017 it gets picked up for a track. Someone decides that they're gonna buy the beat, right? That's 7 years have passed now, right? Then the track I think comes out in maybe 2018, and then in 2023 that song gets picked up on Netflix, right? Now it's running with that series for however long it's gonna be, and you see this, the time span there is 13 years it took, right? For a normal song would have died down in the first couple of weeks of it.
Yeah, it could be like 6 months, then nothing else.
Maybe less,
Yeah.
So 13 years have gone by, and music that I made back then, Old Silas, is popping now. So it makes me excited to know that, and that song can get picked up again in 2030 by another platform, and it can ride again. So if you truly make timeless music, you know, everyone likes to claim that they make music that's going to last a long period of time. If you truly make music that you believe that is timeless, this is perfect for you, because you can make music today knowing that it might not get synced today, but it might get synced in 2025, 2028, whatever, 2040. And at that time you make money, right? And then from there, there's this whole thing of syndication and how if you have a show on TV, every time that show plays, you're going to earn. Every time, if it's an opening credits, you're going to earn. If another show picks it up, you're going to earn. If that whole franchise makes its way to another country, you're going to earn.
You're earning again.
Right? And this for me is how an artist can really take their career from being a 5-year thing. You know, an artist, they can say they're hot for 5-10 years before they completely fade, and then they have to go find another avenue to take. This can be you building out for properly for your future until your 60s, your 70s, and then to your next generation, to your kids.
They're still eating from that.
They're still eating from it. So it's beautiful.
There is a question that came from Utoli, of which I think Utoli, they said, what can one do to protect their music as a writer or music composer or a vocalist?
So I think when it comes to, we'll talk about just being a composer and protection in general. There is you don't want to take your source material and hand it over. So I'm going to give an example because I think it'll be easier to explain. If I'm a composer and I put together a piece of music and I want to not publicize it, but I want someone to now sing that song, there are ways that I can then say that this is a song that I made now, meaning that should you come through and take my lyrics, I have proof that it was made in 2024. You're releasing a song in 2025. My version clearly came before yours. And that basically then becomes your protection and your proof. So different ways that you can do this. As a music producer, when you're sending files through, you might not necessarily send the entire project, the raw project of your file. Don't send that through. You can burn that down, tag it if you need to, give it to someone knowing that whatever version it is that they're receiving, that they're not going to be able to make use of it in that form. In the same way, I know with my beats, and I guess if an artist can do the same thing, you've got social media that you can post to. That gives timestamps as well. It gives timestamps as well. People talk about a poor man's copyright, which is something I used to do back in the day. Basically, what that is you burn your stuff onto some kind of media, you put it onto a USB, whatever it is. You take that to Postnet or whatever it is, you pop it in an envelope, you then pay money to then get it couriered, you courier it back to yourself.
Okay.
Yes. Now you've got a package that is, whatever is basically what we're saying is anything that is in that package, we can say is from a particular time that's on dated over there.
Ooh,
You
yes.
see? Then from there, that can then also then be part of your body of evidence. So there's a whole host of things that you can do to create, because at the end of the day, if we're talking about protection, all we're saying is that someone has infringed on your copyrights, or is going to infringe on your copyrights later down the line. You just need to know that you have a way of protecting yourself by having a decent body of evidence that you can create with all these ways that I'm talking about now. I'm not a legal expert, but these are just some of the ways that I've managed to do it for myself, using things like tags. You don't send through the highest quality things. The one thing I would say that I actually do need to get more information on is writers. You know, because sometimes you'll write lyrics out and then you'll say, here's a dope song, and I give it to you. I haven't made you sign anything, an NDA or anything. I'm just saying, here's a dope song. Those are words that have been arranged in a particular way.
I think there's, I don't know if I'm too sure, is it Delro? I think so. They are the ones who even keep the script writing. Yeah, so I think even writing your music can still go from there, because they just keep anything that is text that you have written down.
So I know it's a similar thing with like screenplays and that type of thing. That you have this stuff. It's the same thing. I mean, music used to be like that as well, isn't it? Music used to be sheet music that you would write down notes, and then that's effectively how music was then duplicated and then sent out there. So definitely. And I would then also then go back to saying that get your stuff notified as well. Getting your stuff notified, it's also another, you're just doing is you're showing that you have taken the time out to build this body of evidence that this song is actually mine. I have registered it. I have notified it. I am registered. I'm here. I'm doing my stuff properly. And whoever it is that's going to infringe on my copyright down the line is going to have a tough time getting away with it.
Yeah. Very true. Now, thank you so much, Mr. Salas, for sharing that beautiful information, and also for coming through in the studio, because we definitely need all this great information, especially as the African music industry, which is still growing, and it needs more people to always protect and liberate more artists, and even the music composers, the music participant on its own perfectly. And also for the people who would love to get hold of you and even to know when are we supposed, or when can we expect more of the events where we can see you as well, possibly speaking live publicly, where we can also come through and also get more information from you?
Okay, so in terms of where people can reach me, it's all at Silas Beats, so SILASBEATS. I'm on most social media platforms, or it's you'll find my number my number really is everywhere.
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret. It really isn't a secret. People can reach out to me. They can text me. Also, I run a weekly voice note group where I give out information. And if you are on any of these social media platforms, if you're following me on any of those ones, then very quickly I will let you know if there is an event that's about to happen, or there's a place where I'm going to make an appearance. We'll be able to have a chat. And that's how we can keep in contact.
Now, thank you so much about that. And I know that there's an upcoming event that you're about to handle. When is that?
Yeah, so there was one last month. We are planning on doing one in March. It'll be March or April. Probably be April, actually, early April, just after the Easter period. But again, I'll give more information on that as time goes on.
Now, Mr. Salas, thank you so much once again, my brother, for coming through and for sharing all this beautiful information, because without this information, definitely our industry will die, because we have so many great artists falling out because of them not knowing much about the industry, but having you around and always calling you to come through and also explain more about the industry and explain more about the things that most musicians don't know about. Most people who are composing or producing music, they don't know about all these things, yet when you come through, you always explain these things and also give us great revenues where we know that, we are only focusing on just one media of revenue. There's more into it. So thank you so much for always sharing that great information. And we'll always make sure that we always call you in the studio and continue to make sure that we liberate more of our African music. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I enjoyed it so much.
Let's have fun time. One Africa TV, that was Salas Beats. So please make sure that you follow him on all the social media platforms where you can also get more information, because everywhere you will always see, he always share